I got a lot of stuff in my garage and I have a floored attic. The problem is I'm too lazy to move all this stuff up there. I just don't want to climb up and down that ladder. Ugh, that's too much work. Instead, I'm going to build something to lift it all up there. An elevator. Oh, I'm miking. What did I do now? Built an elevator, that's what. When I'm done, there will be a lot of stuff in the attic, and I won't be able to go up and down that rickety attic ladder forever.
What are you doing?
Don't interrupt me when I'm working on my video! Did you expect a serious, no-nonsense how-to video? Hey, you're watching someone who built an elevator in his garage. I am not serious. The elevator channel is the original inspiration for this project, although Brian doesn't really show you how to put it together or what's involved. This DIY elevator video from the Mike H channel does an excellent job of breaking down not only the parts and measurements, but the total cost. He doesn't show how to do it, but there are screenshots. But where do I put the elevator?
Now what are you doing?
I was gonna put an elevator here.
Well, not in front of the TV.
My second choice was to put it here, in the garage. There's no doors, no water heater, no fuse box, and the attic above is open and has standing room. All I have to do is put the hoist about here. Let's get started. This hole is going to be 3 by 4 feet, but right now I'm running into an annoying joist. This joist is 20 feet long, so it needs support before it's cut. The middle of the 2 by 6 is screwed to the short end, and it spans the joists on either side. The long end I support with a long 2 by 4 in my floor jack. Now I can cut 4 feet out of this joist. Will this jeopardize the integrity of the roof? Hey, who are you? I'm Pete, the structural engineer. Oh, is this about the joist I just cut? That's not safe. Pete's right. But first of all, this is not a rafter tie, it's a joist, supporting vertical load only. I used the piece that was cut out as one cross member or header, and I used new lumber for the other header. They were mounted to the adjacent joist using joist hangers, and the other side was set on the load-bearing wall. And then another joist was put between the 2 headers. This was to keep the Romex rat's nest out of my elevator shaft and also be used to mount the floor. So, good? Yes. I think you did an adequate enough job that you won't get any negative comments. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. Okay, now that I've started, I need a plan. Fortunately, I have the SketchUp model of my attic to show you what I'm going to build. A lift will be built with standard lumber. There will be 2 Unistruts that I get from Home Depot mounted to a piece of OSB which is mounted to the wall. The location of the hole doesn't allow any leeway side to side, so quite simply, the Unistruts don't line up with the studs, so the OSB acts as an adapter. The lift will then be attached to the Unistruts with 2 sets of trolleys I got from Amazon. In the attic, I'll build something that looks like it belongs in a coal mine, a large scaffold designed to simply hold that Vevor hoist. It really couldn't be any simpler. Links for all parts and tools, including the hoist, in the description. The 2 scaffold main legs will be 2 by 10s and 7 feet tall. A notch is cut near the top. This is where the motor will be hung, with its center line a few inches past the wall. Clearances are cut at the bottom. The legs get mounted to the top of the wall, bolted into the joists on the sides, and angle brackets were used on the bottom. The top 2 by 10 is mounted next. Mine isn't just a 2 by 10, it has quite a structure up there. I planned on using a pulley to lift the 50-pound hoist up by myself. It didn't work, and I had to phone a friend. So the result is a scaffold that is overly built and overly tall. Like me. It'll be fine. All the wall studs' locations were identified, and OSB was placed against the wall on center of the opening. It was screwed in place with 2-inch construction screws, about 6 in each stud, and I managed to attach to 3 studs. I painted it to match the garage wall. It doesn't match. The paint came with the house, was in the garage, and garage was written on it. Silly me for assuming this was paint for the garage. Using 1 1/4 inch construction screws, the Unistruts are mounted to the OSB using a 32nd inch span on center of the OSB and the hull. The struts will extend into the attic by 4 feet to accommodate the lift, so they need to be 12 feet tall. The struts are 10 feet long, so 2 feet of strut was added to the bottom of the run. It's critical that the struts are parallel and plumb, or the lift could twist or bind. My wall was not perfectly flat, so shims were used. I can't stress to strive for strictly straight struts. Strictly straight struts? Geez, why did I write that? There will be 2 2x6 supports for the Unistruts mounted to the top of the wall. A bit was trimmed off on the table saw so they'd have a nice flat face. The supports are screwed to the Unistruts first, and then, without bending or twisting the struts, the supports are mounted to the top of the wall with angle brackets. The scaffold obviously can't be left as is, or it will collapse like a deck of cards. A lattice of lumber was screwed to the joists to provide something for support beams to attach. 2 7-foot 2x6s are bolted to the legs with nuts and bolts and then mounted to the lattice with lag bolts. Next, 2 5-foot 2x4s are mounted to the top of the Unistrut supports and then to the lattice. A 2x4 is mounted across the back of the Unistrut supports and then to the insides of the legs using lag bolts. Finally, 2x4s are added at angles for side-to-side support of the scaffold. Using a 4-foot long piece of Unistrut, slide the hoist onto it and lift it into place into the notches on the scaffold legs. This is where I tried to use my pulley system, and well, that was a big failure. A friend helped me lift it into place. A second piece of Unistrut is placed on top of the first one, spaced with washers, then bolted together. 4 straps of aluminum are bolted on using lag bolts to hold the Unistruts in place. The hoist control box is mounted to the inside of the scaffold. The floor of the lift, or the platform, is cut out first, 3 by 4 feet from 7/16 OSB. A 2 by 4 frame is built for the OSB, bolted together with construction screws. A 2 by 6 by 45 inch support will be used across the top. Before assembling, it will need a hole for the forged eye bolt that I bought from Amazon. The lift will be lifted by the middle of the support, so for reinforcement, a 28 inch 2 by 6 is attached with glue and several construction screws. The back supports can now be bolted to the top support using 5/16 inch nuts and bolts. I slid the trolleys down the Unistruts, then the top 2 are mounted to the lift upper support. Now I get to use the hoist. It's lowered down and hooked to the eye bolt. The back structure is lifted up. The lift frame is placed on some supports to get it up off the floor. The back support is positioned so that all the pre-drilled holes line up and then loosely are bolted together. The lift was pulled away from the wall and the bolts for the trolleys were inserted into their respective holes and nutted up. Then the back was tightened. Now, when you lift something heavy, the platform would snap right off. To prevent this, I used a couple of aluminum straps on each side. This is why the 2 by 6 sides are inset. Each strip mounts to the outside of the back and the inside of the base. Slots are cut in the platform to accommodate the straps. The floor is screwed into place with construction screws. Finally, using brackets, a piece of 2 by 4 was mounted to the top of the platform. It should be tall enough so when the elevator goes all the way up, the 2 by 4 hits the kill switch under the hoist pulley. Am I going to trust being lifted 8 feet in the air by a $160 hoist made in China? Nope. I found a reasonably priced fall arrestor on Amazon. It's cheap because it's not certified. Kind of like I've been accused of being. A fall arrestor is like a seatbelt. It will go up and down, but if there's a sudden move, it locks up. Another forged eye bolt was mounted to the top of the lift. The lifeline loops over the hoist struts and hooks on. The other end hooks onto the other eye bolt. Now I can ride it. No more falling down the ladder. In theory, anyway. And all my stuff is up here. So damn much stuff. Oh look, a tree. That's it. My elevator is completely... What are you doing here? That's not safe. Yeah, Pete's right. Sheetrock is a fire barrier. On my other channel, I did a video on fire safety, and it can withstand fire for an hour. Should you watch that video? Nah, nobody cares about fire safety. Anyway, that big hole I cut in the ceiling created a fire hazard. Without sheetrock, if a fire starts in the garage, it can enter the attic quickly and the whole house can go up like that. Plus, any gases from the car or possibly the hot water heater can enter the attic and get sucked into the ventilation system. This needs to be sealed off. The first step is to put 2x4s around the opening, which will act like a doorstop. A couple of fixtures were made that will bolt up against the ceiling with a piece of 2x4 and some spacers that measure to the height of the platform minus the thickness of the molding. A 2x4 stop was laid on them and then secured with several screws to the ceiling hoist. Weather stripping was cut to size and stuck in place to help make the elevator airtight. To insulate the platform and keep with the whole preventing fire theme, from Home Depot I ordered this fire-resistant insulation that is used for kilns. It's laid in place on the pre-painted Type X fire-resistant drywall and the platform is lowered down. I start 4 screws, then drive them in all the way. The platform is raised and the remaining screws are screwed. The opening was framed with 1x4-inch pine cut to size with 45-degree angles. They were all mounted, ensuring I hit the ceiling joists and doing my best to keep a uniform half-inch gap around the lift. The moldings were then removed and painted. After installing them, interior caulk is used, which helps it look nicer up against the popcorn ceiling. I even installed a smoke and carbon monoxide detector and a fire extinguisher. Is the elevator fire resistant? I'd rather never find out. Now I can... What now? That's not safe. And what's with this cat? Yeah, Pete's right. I used aluminum straps because that's what Mike H. and Brian used. I had argued that it's high quality, high strength aluminum. But what I hadn't considered is the clearance holes for the bolts had caused weak spots. It's no longer an 1/8 by 1 inch. Now it's closer to an 1/8 by 1/2 inch. The lift was lowered and the front end set down on top of my step ladder. The aluminum straps were unbolted, the lift platform removed, and the insulation taken out. The chain was clamped down so I could use my cutoff wheel on it. Bolt cutters would be much faster. Actually, a nail file would be much faster. I need a better air compressor instead of this pipsqueak. There were different ways to do this, but I decided I wanted to bury the chain into the wood. I feel like it would provide more strength than a shim or just bolting the chain down with big gaps. I used my rotary tool to carve out the grooves. The chain was nutted down on the bottom and then lagged on the top. The insulation was replaced, the platform was put back on and screwed down. And now we're ready to see the elevator in action! I don't have much chain left. I'll have to figure out some practical DIY use for it. The attic isn't just for storing old crap. It's an extension of my garage. I can zip up the elevator, grab something off the shelves, and then within a few seconds, I'll be back. Okay? Okay, what? Is it safe now? Oh. That's not safe. Pete's right. But this is the last time. Okay. You'll get my bill in the mail. Bill? You weren't even invited. I tried to engineer this as carefully as I could, and I've added layers of safety where I can, but this is still a DIY lifting system using a material hoist, not a certified passenger elevator. It's fine for experimentation and personal use with extreme caution, but it's absolutely not something I'd recommend anyone replicate for regular human transport. Do you agree? Leave a comment. And don't forget to use those links for tools and supplies. That helps fund more insane projects like this one. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Mike, you don't really know what I'm thinking. And you're right. But you're also thinking, Mike, how did you do that whole project without making any mistakes? Well, I made one or two. I made hundreds of mistakes. I had to move the hole in the ceiling twice. You know how hard it is to move a hole? I didn't show them mainly for time constraints, but also because this is not a how-to video. This is not a how-to channel. It's a how not to channel. YouTube just doesn't have that category. On my other channel, I did a more in-depth video on the elevator, which you might like if you want to know measurements and screw sizes and stuff. Build an elevator at your own risk. I'm just here for entertainment purposes. Oh, I've got a fan online. Hey, fan, did you like the video?
You did make one mistake. You built an elevator.
Thanks, fan. Speaking of how not to, the way to how not to not like this video is by not liking this video. Man, that was a lot of double negatives. Just, you know. What did Mike do now is every Wednesday, noon Eastern. Make sure and subscribe so you don't miss it. My shed series is close to wrapping up. Then I'll start looks maxing my house. Yes, it's exactly what you think. I'm going to break my house's jaw, then inject it with some steroids I bought behind the Home Depot from Hector. In the meantime, I've got a lot of other videos on this channel to watch, so stick around, like my attic build-out, the whole reason for the elevator, or the whole excuse. Oh yeah, Casa Maxima. My house is gonna be a Giga Chad.
Now you're just showing off. I want to see you build an escalator. So you built an elevator to get up into the attic. I guess to get down you'll have to get a bat pole.